Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, welcome to my class. I'm sure that you all would be in the best of health by the grace of Allah. Our today's topic would be on leadership, sources of influence, and I'm Dr. Ayaz Muhammad Khan. Dear scholars, here is the agenda for our today's lecture. We'll get over different parts of leadership. We would also see that what is the difference between a leader and a boss, and a little bit debate whether leaders are born or made. We would discuss some new concepts of leadership, leadership style theories and models, and last but not the least, leadership in an organization. Uh, about theories, styles, and models, we would only have a bird's eye view in this lecture. In this lecture, we would try to explore sources of leaders' influence. You might have heard the name of Warren Bennis and Bernd Nanus, who used to offer a clever distinction between a manager and a leader. Though we have already gone through that thing, but I mean, this was very interesting. That is why I have given it. A manager does the things right, a leader does the right things. Leaders' influence attempts must be accepted, that is granted by those being led. In organization, various bases exist that enable some person to lead. Dear student, first of all, I'll let you know the definition of power. Many scholars adopt the definition developed by German sociologist Max Weber. You can recall the name of Max Weber, who is the chief proponent of the modern bureaucracy. I mean, he used to say that power is the ability to exercise one's will over others. Power affects more than personal relationship. It shapes larger dynamics like social groups, professional organization, and governments. Similarly, a government's power is not necessarily limited to control of its own citizens. And now let's see what is the definition of authority. Authority actually refers to accepted power. If you accept the power of someone, when you work in schools, colleges, or universities, you actually accept the power of your principals, directors. So, authority refers to accepted power, that is, power that people agree to follow. People listen to authority figures because they feel that these individuals are worthy of respect. Generally speaking, people perceive the objectives and demands of an authority figure as reasonable and beneficial or true. Five distinct sources of leaders' power or influence. We have got legitimate power. The second one is reward power. Third one is coercive power. Fourth, expert power. And the fifth one is referent power. Uh, we have also some document that shows that there are seven powers: expert, legitimate, reward, information, coercive, referent, and connection powers. We usually say that a true leader is able to influence others and modify behavior via legitimate and referent power. The very first power is called as legitimate power. It is vested in the leader's positions or role in the organizational hierarchy. It is based on the mutually accepted perception that the leader has the right to influence a subordinate. Hierarchy in education, in government of the Punjab, you know this thing. There are different levels of that hierarchy. If you are in the top of hierarchy, you would have more authority, more power. If you are in level 2, your authority and power would decrease, whereas in level 3, it would be at its minimum. So, such a hierarchy is called as vertical hierarchy. Reward power. Leaders usually hold reward powers in organization by virtue of their ability to reward subordinates. Example, say pay rises, promotions, good assignments, or praise. In the hierarchy, if you are on the top, your reward power would be high. If you are in the middle management, your reward power would ultimately be low. So it depends on the hierarchy where you are sitting as a leader. Coercive power. This is opposite to reward power. It refers to the leader's ability to control and administer punishment to subordinates for non-compliance. Examples are demotions, reprimands, withholding pay increase. Uh, Even in public sector, we have a PIDA Act that is imposed by the top hierarchy. Whenever in lower hierarchy, some subordinate does something wrong. You can also say that coercive power is the ability of manager to force an employee to follow an order by threatening the employee with the punishment if the employee does not comply with the order. I mean, it all depends on the results. If you perform better as a subordinate, he has the ability to reward you. But if you are not performing up to the mark as given in your job description, so the leader or the top manager holds the authority to use his coercive power against you. Expert power. It is based on special ability or knowledge that the leader has and is needed by the group. The leader is seen as capable of analyzing, implementing, and controlling those tasks that the unit has been assigned. Expert part depends on the education, training, and experience of the leader. So it is important type of power in managing all the complexities of modern organization, whether it is school or some private entrepreneurs. As a matter of fact, it depends on the person who is leading you. If his exposure is very high in different terms, I mean, in managerial form, in technical form, or interpersonal form, people look at him and try to follow his guidelines, assuming that he has got that expert power that no one else can help us. So, there are many organizations where people get to the top level, get that leadership ability, but unfortunately, they lack that charisma. So, that is why in many organizations, people look not to the leader who is sitting in the top hierarchy level, rather to a person who has got that referent power. So we would say that the ability of the leader to develop followers from the strength of their own personalities, in a sense, this is a form of charisma that draws respect and attracts others to the leaders. Maybe some of you might be working in a school. Uh, your principal not that much catchy, not that much, I mean, charisma. So you might be thinking that though he has got authority, but if I have to ask something, he is not the right person to help us, me. Rather, you go to a person who has that charisma to solve your problems. So this sort of power is called as referent power. There was a new concept of power given by Dana Tracy, a New York management consultant, who suggested a new concept of power. The concept has been referred to an educational literature recently as empowerment. The new advice is that you can achieve ultimate power by giving it to the people who work for you. Tracy says that power operates under the same principle as love. The more you give to others, the more you receive in return. Also, she suggests that leaders can maximize their own power and their opportunities for success by enabling the employees they supervise also to achieve their own sense of power and success. So, the more you devolve power to the people who are working under your control, the more they would feel independent and the more link they would get with you. Here are the 10 principles of empowerment. The very first one is tell people what their responsibilities are. I mean, if you are a boss, if you are a leader in any organization, principal, you got to tell people in black and white what are their responsibilities. Give them authority equal to the responsibility assigned. I mean, if you are giving them responsibility, give them authority as well. This may be, I mean, you got to devolve power. Either it is administrative, financial, or academic. Set standards for excellence. Then tell them these are the points or targets they are supposed to achieve. Provide them with the needy training. People are not well trained, so if you are giving them a new task, you got to give them some sort of training as well, or we call it as a professional development. Give them knowledge and information, provide them with feedback on their performance. I mean, that can be continuous feedback, uh, or it can be after end of 3, 6, or 12 months. Recognize them for their achievements. Once they have done good, you got to you got to appreciate them, trust them, give them permission to fail. I mean, failure is not a big issue as long as you learn out of it. Treat them with dignity and respect. Human beings, I mean, besides pay and many other things, the most important thing that researcher has shown that they want their dignity and respect to be maintained. So what is the difference between a boss and a leader? We know a boss manages their employees while a leader inspires them to innovate, think creatively, and strive for perfection. Leader actually develops many more other leaders. A boss is an individual who is in charge of employees of an organization. A leader is an individual who possesses the ability to influence and inspires others towards the accomplishment of goal. If you want to have a comparison, you can see that a boss drives employees, leader coaches them. Boss depends on authority, leader depends on goodwill. Boss inspires fear, but Leaders generates enthusiasm. Boss usually say I, but leader says we. Boss places blame for the breakdown. Leaders fix the breakdown. Boss knows how it is done, but leader shows how it is done. Boss uses people, leaders develop people. Boss takes credit, but leaders gives credit to other. Boss commands, leaders ask. Boss says go, but leaders say let's go. So try to be leader in your organization rather than becoming bosses. Dear students, just watch those pictorial images. If you don't read the difference, just look at those pictures and you would be in a position to distinguish between boss and leaders. And the decision is yours. If you would become boss, you won't be able to inculcate leadership among the people. But if you would be a leader, you would be in a position to create many more leaders like you. So here is an assignment for you. Dear students, first of all, you got to enlist all theories of leadership. You can use internet sources and you will be in a position to write down. I don't want you to write in detail, but just 2 to 3 liner about each theory. And then you would have to enlist styles of leaderships and different models of leaderships. After that, you would write a summary of around 150 words about that would show difference between theories. If we started chronologically from upside down, so in the 21st century leadership theories, we have got J.C. Maxwell's leadership theories. I mean, outstanding theories. We would get over it in detail. We would try to get over some of his books. Then we have Gallup and Avilio, authentic leadership theories in 2004. Greenleaf servant leadership theories 1970s. Then we have also got some transactional and transformational theories by Bernard Bass. Then we have got contingency theories of 1960s. We would get over Fielder's least preferred coworker theory, and then Housepath Gould leadership theory 1971. We will also then study situational leadership theories that emerged in 1960 then. So in that you would study Harshep Blanchard leadership model, Room, Yatton's normative models of leadership. Then you would study participative leadership style, behavioral leadership style, and then trait leadership theories, and last but not the least, I mean great man leadership theory, which I believe some of the people even now believe that leaders are born, not created. Dear students, here is a sketch of all those leadership theories. You can see, in a schematic form they are given. I would just request you to, learn it by heart, because there is a need to learn it by heart so that we might reach from great man theories to the 21st century's theories, and you know that what actually lies in between the very first theory, great man theory, up till 21st century leadership theories.